Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Rahul Gandhi has stoked yet another controversy with his recent speech at Cambridge University. The Congress leader was addressing the students of his alma mater as a visiting fellow of the Cambridge Judge Business School. Not surprisingly, Rahul Gandhi chose to talk about India and the attack on the government at the Ivy League university that has come under scanner. The 52-year-old Wayanad MP alleged that an attack has been unleashed on the basic structure of Indian democracy. He claimed Indian government used Israeli spyware Pegasus to snoop into his phone amongst other politicians. Although criticism and condemnation followed, some other like-minded allies or parties also joined in on the chorus to slam the government and attack Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led central government. Is it particularly nice or even helpful for an Indian politician to cry death of democracy overseas? Doesn't it end up leaving a bad taste at home in India? After all, which countries' politicians go overseas to bash their own country and its systems even if they fight bitterly politically at home? Has Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party then missed a trick again, fallen into the same trap that actually, curiously, ends up drumming support for their opponents BJP in India? Or is this a pure dissent activity, taking their message far and wide? But then another question comes to mind. What are these foreigners supposed to do about it? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit. So the speech is from February 28 and the full speech was uploaded today by Congress leader and ex-advisor to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Sam Petroda. Here is more of what Rahul Gandhi said. He says Indian democracy is under pressure, under attack, and that the country is facing an attack on the basic structure of democracy. He also claimed that he feels a constant pressure in the country and is facing several criminal libel cases. So are other opposition leaders who are also apparently being jailed. Rahul Gandhi also said that minorities and free press is under attack in India. And then he went on to talk about the Israeli spyware Pegasus that's been in headlines in India before. He claimed that a large number of politicians have Pegasus on their phones. Obviously, this has been done allegedly at the behest of the government, including him, by the way. And that intelligence officers have warned him in the past to be careful about what he says on his phone, as they, in the intelligence officers, are recording his conversation. As Rahul Gandhi was asked to list a few good policies of the BJP government, he said he's not bothered about 2-3 good things that Modi does because he believes Narendra Modi is blowing India to smithereens. Let's also take a closer look at what Rahul Gandhi has said, especially when it comes to the Pegasus spyware case and what the Supreme Court had ruled on this matter. So Rahul Gandhi's claim is that he himself has had Pegasus on the phone. The Supreme Court had ruled in 2022 that 29 phones were examined and there was no conclusive evidence of Pegasus on them. Rahul Gandhi's claim is that a large number of politicians in India had Pegasus on their phones. This is what the Supreme Court had said. Some malware was found in 5 of those phones, but it doesn't mean that it's Pegasus. It was actually inconclusive. Rahul Gandhi, as I said, went on to say that intel officers have warned him about his phone conversations in the past. The Supreme Court had said that there is limited data available, inconclusive to determine whether there has been Pegasus uses or not. Apart from that, of course, the BJP has fired at him, asking why didn't he submit his phone if he believed that there was Pegasus spyware on it. But the larger point is, as far as statements against Indian government and democracy are concerned, this isn't the first time that Rahul Gandhi has come under criticism for doing this overseas. Over the years, the Congress leader has spoken at multiple international universities on themes such as threats to the idea and structure of India and erosion of institutions. So a quick reminder, California 2017, he said RSS and Prime Minister are fiddling with the foundational structure of India. Singapore 2018, some people are using anger and violence to win elections. Germany 2018, Modi's government's exclusionary politics created a platform for hate. London same year, for first time an organization is challenging the very concept of India. Mind you, he has also, in the meantime, often said that India is not a nation, India is a union of states. Leaving that aside, furthermore, he has also said on overseas soil, people being discriminated against in India, the marginalized are betrayed. And now Cambridge 2020, if earlier Cambridge 2022, he said Congress is fighting to regain India, but BJP is stifling voices. So the big debate that's coming in, Rahul Gandhi is doing this once again, slamming the present dispensation, but also the systems and institutions in India or on foreign soil. Is this purely dissent that is acceptable for a political opposition, or does this actually amount to defaming your country?
I've been called by intelligence officers who tell me, listen, please be careful what you're saying on the phone because we are sort of recording this stuff. Everybody knows, and it's been in the news a lot, that Indian democracy is under pressure, is under attack.
देश को बदनाम करने की ये साजिश बार बार जो विदेशी धरती से होती है, कभी विदेशी दोस्तों के माध्यम से होती है.
What happened is nothing hidden from the eyes of the world.
When they use Pegasus against our opposition leaders, against our media professionals, against our civil society, then it's not an attack on democracy. But if we talk about it, it's an attack on democracy.
It is highly possible because everyone around the world today knows that democracy in India and our constitution is facing a threat.
हकीकत स्वीकारिए, अथॉरिटेरियन स्टेट के सारे फीचर्स हैं. आप जिस सरकार के मंत्री हैं और लोग इस बात को समझते हैं.
राहुल गांधी विपक्ष के बड़े नेता हैं, संसद सदस्य हैं. उन्होंने जो सवाल उठाया वो बहुत गंभीर है.
Let's go across to the guests who are joining us. Neeti Jain from the BJP, Lavanya Balal from the Congress Party, Manojit Mandal, TMC spokesperson with us, Abhishek Banerjee is a columnist and political analyst, Adit Kothari is from the Index Society. He's joining us from London. I want to begin with the Congress first up. Lavanya, the first question that everybody often asks Rahul Gandhi or opposition leaders per se is that why do you go overseas and make these comments? What's the purpose? What's the point?
Hi, good evening. Now, Shivani, Rahul Gandhi ji has made those points even in Indian Parliament. He's made those points in India as well. When he made those points, his speech was expunged, if you all remember. The best way to preserve and protect our democracy is by ensuring that the opposition is not silenced. And that when the opposition is silenced is when our Indian democracy is under threat. Speaking up about silencing the opposition, be it in India or any part of the world, is not a threat to Indian democracy. Indian democracy is a robust democracy. The 60 years of Congress governance has made sure that it is a very strong democracy. So if BJP thinks today, speaking up about the oppression of the opposition, the silencing of the opposition, and the spyware in the opposition leaders' phone, and all of these, when we speak up, it is the destruction of democracy. I'm fairly sure that they have not understood Indian democracy neither.
But you are saying Indian democracy is very robust. Rahul Gandhi is going overseas and saying exactly the opposite. That's what I don't understand. The fact that opposition leaders are speaking, and you mentioned about his speech in Parliament, actually his speech on the Modi government criticism was not redacted. It was only specific portions that linked the government of the Prime Minister to Adani were redacted for obvious reasons. But other than that, you're right. He's made all of these points in India. Pegasus was discussed for months in India. But my question is that you say Indian democracy doesn't come in danger because Rahul Gandhi goes overseas and says precisely the opposite, that Indian democracy is in danger. So I don't get it. Why this twin message? If you're so confident about Indian democracy, why do you go overseas and defame Indian democracy?
Well, Shivani, when you are switching off the mics of the opposition leaders during a parliamentary discussion, that is destruction of democracy, and that the world needs to know what is happening. So this
why? I ask you again, why does the world need to know that Indian democracy is in danger? What is it that you expect the world community to do, especially students at Cambridge? You say this in India, I can understand it. You fight your political battle in India, but why at Cambridge?
Well, Shivani, why do you want to hide it? If it is perfectly fine, if it is perfectly legal action, if it is within the constitutional framework, Shivani, what are you worried about? Why are you scaring the world?
I'm not worried about it. I'm just asking, what is it that the Congress expects this global audience is going to do?
Shivani, if I may respond and finish my sentences. So, not all of the Cambridge students are, foreign students. There are also Indian students there. What is the harm in the world knowing how the Modi-led BJP government is trying every trick in the book possible to subvert India's constitution, to destroy India's democracy? If the Modi government and its supporters believe that the Indian constitution, Indian democracy is healthy and there is no threat.
But what does the Congress party believe in? Lavanya, like I said, you said Rahul Gandhi going overseas and saying certain things against the government does not weaken Indian democracy. But the Congress's central message today is that there is no democracy in India. So please tell me, what do you believe in? Is Indian democracy healthy or not?
Are you talking to me? Is the question for me, Shivani?
Yes. Then I'll open this up to the rest of our guests. Lavanya.
Okay, I didn't catch the question. If you could repeat that,
I'm
please.
saying, do you believe as the Congress party that Indian democracy is healthy? That you believe does not come under danger with Rahul Gandhi going overseas and saying what he's saying? Or do you believe that Indian democracy is not healthy? Which one is it?
Shivani, I think Rahul Gandhi has made it very clear how the Indian democracy is being destroyed by the Modi-led BJP government. I'm sure this answers your question.
Okay, all right. I'll leave it at that. Let me go across to some of our other panelists, and then Neeti, as the BJP spokesperson, I'll come to you last. You can respond to all of them in one go. Manojit Mandal is from the TMC, staunch opponent of the BJP. Manojit, what do you make of the criticism that is coming from Rahul Gandhi, but on overseas soil? Of course, all of this gets said in India. We discuss this on a daily basis effectively. We've done it with you and the Congress party before. But when this happens overseas, there is a particular question that comes up. Why?
Shivani, it's not about a particular person, whether it is Mr. Rahul Gandhi or anybody. He may have his own take on the crisis of Indian democracy. It is about the people of India and the larger section of the people of India. Nearly 60% of the people who did not actually vote BJP in 2019. They are seriously facing the crisis. I mean, we just had a poll in Tripura and the result where BJP has won, and just see what is happening. This is called post-poll violence. This is the way they are burning the houses of the opposition. And sadly, both the left and the Congress, who are allies in Tripura, they're silent when their workers' houses are getting burned in Tripura by the party called Bharat Jala Party or BJP.
But similar post-poll violence happened in Bengal, Manojit. You defended it on many shows with me. You know what the High Court said. Democracy is under danger then too.
Very good question. Shivani, 2 years have passed. CBI is inquiring into the matter. Show me a single Trinamool Congress leader who is arrested because of the charges of post-poll violence. It was largely a narrative spread by a section of the media.
No, it wasn't a narrative. Manojit, we had reporters on ground. It wasn't a narrative. Incidents happened, and they happened particularly against a certain section of the community. I am not going to allow you to whitewash what happened in post-poll violence in Bengal. But we can come to the point. We can come to the point we are discussing.
The point is, we know it, we are aware of it. We do not need to say it in a foreign country because we know the history of India and Britain, how they have exploited us for 200 years, almost plundered India's wealth to the tune of $9 trillion in today's estimation. So we do not need to we do not need any lecture from any foreign country. Fact remains that there are issues. Yesterday only you have seen one of the highest institutions of this country is supposed to actually hold the fabric of democracy or the basic premises of democracy, that is election in this country. Supreme Court had to intervene. So we are aware. And Pegasus is not just again about Mr. Gandhi. Even my leaders, Mr. Abhishek Banerjee's phone was hacked into. Phone was snooped into. Everyone knows it could not be conclusively proven because there was no investigation. There was no investigation done. There should have been investigation. And on top of this, again I repeat, how these particular political dispensations, they have singularly targeted the opposition leaders. 300 of them in the last few years, either arrested, raided, questioned. Most of them are coming from my party, the big one, Abhishek Banerjee. Forget about Abhishek Banerjee because BJP is jealous of his rise. At such a young age of barely 32 or 33. I mean, forget about him. He will be definitely chased by BJP, but his family was not spared.
Okay.
His 3 years old son was not spared by.
Okay, I get your point, and I am not on debate on that because we discuss this on a daily basis. The government's actions and the opposition's response to that. Fundamentally, what we're discussing is why do this overseas? What's the point really? Does it not end up defaming your country just because you're out of power right now? But this could do substantial damage to how people look at India. Tomorrow, governments may change. But what does this do to the image of India? And on that, even the TMC believes you need not do this overseas. Abhishek Banerjee, is the Congress just repeating the same mistakes that haven't served them very well? Because I know in the past this has happened and it hasn't served the Congress well because it basically, whether you're, BJP voter or supporter or not, people get a little upset with the fact that you're demeaning India overseas.
Yeah, I mean, Shivani, unfortunately, if Rahul Gandhi really has come of age, then I believe we should stop being a serial spreader of disinformation at this point. I mean, where are the fact checkers when you really need them? He keeps repeating this thing that, there was Pegasus on my phone. The onus is on him to give some evidence. He never gives any evidence. And in fact, the second question that I would ask is that he keeps telling that, the intelligence bureau people are telling me, who are these intelligence bureau people who are reporting to one particular MP who I don't think is in any constitutional position? Is there some kind of, is the Congress party running some kind of deep state inside our intelligence? That is the question that should be investigated. I mean, why are intelligence bureau officers just randomly speaking to him? That is the part that should be investigated. And the other thing is, if there is some software, let him come out and give the evidence and let us just stop this disinformation. If you can prove it, you prove it. If you cannot prove it, then just stop talking about it. And especially don't do it overseas because, it gives a very bad vibe to the people of India when, from standing in some place in Cambridge, you are giving this lecture to people. What
is it for though? What I fundamentally don't understand is, this is very unique to India. I don't see any other large country where a democracy or even otherwise, where politicians go overseas to bash their domestic opponent.
Yeah, I think it is because the Congress party and essentially the family which runs the Congress is still sort of stuck in the past. They try to make a big show of, that we got they actually, very few of them actually got foreign degrees. They only went to college for most probably, not Rahul Gandhi, but many other important members of his family. They just went to college overseas. They didn't actually get degrees. But they really like to show off the fact that, that we went overseas, we know people, we have foreign friends and all. They still think that, this is India of the 1980s and stuff. So.
Okay, Amit Kothari, I think he's not with us back, but I'll go, Amit is with us, but I'll go across to Niti Jain. Niti, fundamentally, this is what the opposition believes that is going to be their central attack against you, that basically everything about the Modi government is bad. You're destroying democracy, which is also healthy, but it is healthy because the Congress left it so. In your 10 years of power, you have completely decimated it.
Shivani, while I was listening to the Congress spokesperson, I think I understand why they stand so isolated in a robust democracy that is India. The recent example being the 3 Northeast states. The problem is that people in India have stopped listening to the national embarrassment that is Rahul Gandhi. So probably that is the reason he needs to go out and feel like he is being heard somewhere. And there is no other explanation for what he is doing. You can keep on going about Pegasus, but the Supreme Court has also come out and said there is no conclusive evidence of any kind of snooping. So is Congress saying that they've stopped believing in the entire agency and the entire judiciary also of the country? Why is it that he could not give his phone is a main question that we need to ask. If he has certain evidence that His phone was snooped. Why did he not give his phone for any kind of evidence that could have provided?
Yeah,
The
but
matter
even
would
the
have
Supreme
closed
Court
right
was
there.
inconclusive on that. So I don't know whether the Pegasus ruling
there
helps
was a
either side
technical
one way or
team.
the other.
Right, but there was a technical team, and Rahul Gandhi did not even give his phone. He did not even want to be part of that inquiry. So why is it that he will come back again and again and raise the same issue, not in India, but outside of the country? And you're right, I've never seen any politician from any other country come here, even if they're in opposition, they always put a very positive picture about their country. These are the good things. And here's Rahul Gandhi, who's at least admitting that Modi ji has done good work, even though he says, "Jo 3-4 अच्छे काम किए हैं, I will not go." What is he even trying to do? At least he's admitting कि हमने अच्छे काम किए हैं. So there is no point in saying that Modi ji is not doing anything. And the democracy and the robust democracy, I think the evidence is that people are choosing Modi ji, people are choosing BJP, and they are bringing us back to power because they believe in what is being done in this country. And I think that remains the biggest evidence in a democracy.
Lavanya, election results speak for themselves. Surely, as you said, Indian democracy is strong and robust. You must listen to the verdict of the people. Is it just pure frustration that the Congress is not getting any electoral revival? Recent election results, are a case in point, but you're wanting to build somehow this Western or a foreign outlook over Modi. That is not going to help you win an election in India. I think that has been proven enough already.
Well, Shivani, the previous two speakers made quite a few personal derogatory comments about Rahul Gandhi. We are very used to BJP out of frustration making quite a lot of personal comments about Rahul Gandhi and
At
Mrs.
least
Sonia
we're doing
Gandhi.
it in this country. At least we're not going out and spreading any amount of stuff about Rahul Gandhi. We're doing it in this country on a national media channel, and we're only questioning why is it that Rahul Gandhi feels no shame in going out and embarrassing the entire country on international platforms repeatedly. Please give me an answer to that matter. Is it just because the people in this country have stopped listening to him?
Okay, let her respond.
Do you want me to respond to the other person's comments, Shivani, or to your question?
Yes, you can respond to my question also, the one I asked you. Is it just not pure frustration? I think Neeti is asking the similar question.
Shivani, I'm responding to your question.
Yeah.
When we are talking about election results, let us also see how Modi magic has not worked in all the states. The great Modi magic has not worked in all the states. And let us be very clear. It is not just about winning elections. It is about protecting the democracy that India fought for more than 100 years to gain from the British Empire, for which the contribution of the BJP party has been zero. The people who say, hey, you know what, we know what democracy is all about. We know what democracy is all about are the people who did not contribute to an independent India. Now, when these people are making derogatory comment about our leaders, let me be very clear. When we talk about the way the opposition leaders are being targeted, they both were talking about the Pegasus. Let me be very clear. The government refused to have an independent investigation on the Pegasus, and the Supreme Court ordered for an independent investigation, wherein the 300 people, out of which 40 journalist phones were having Pegasus-like software, and out of which, when the investigation submitted the report in August 2022, it said, central government has been hostile and refused to cooperate with the
I did point out what the Supreme Court said, and I don't think that judgment one way or the other proves anything. So I'm not discussing that. My question to you was, no, you're not understanding. The issue is not Pegasus alone. The issue is not, elections alone. The issue is, why are you doing this overseas? Why?
Shivani, I'm responding to your previous question.
This is my question. Is this not frustration that you go overseas and bash your country? Why not fight your battles here? And is that frustration happening because nobody's listening to you here? Even your political opponents don't really listen to what Rahul Gandhi or Congress says anymore. You're like-minded parties, the other anti-BJP parties.
Yes, Shivani, you made a point right now.
Yes.
That The BJP is refusing to listen to the people of India. It is refusing to listen to the opposition parties of India. Shivani, you made that point.
When did I make that point?
What we are talking about. It is our duty as citizens. Shivani, I don't understand why you think it is perfectly fine for the opposition leaders' phones to be installed.
It's not fine. I'm not saying that at all. I'm asking you, why do you go to Cambridge and talk about this? Lavanya, you understand my question. You're needlessly twisting it. You have fought over Pegasus in India. That's absolutely acceptable. Why is this happening in Cambridge? And I mean, I don't understand the point about not all students in Cambridge are Indians or non-Indians. It doesn't matter. What are they supposed to do? If this is not purely to build an anti-Modi opinion overseas, then what is it for? But why? Fight your battles here.
Shivani, please calm down. You don't need to be
because
agitated.
You're misquoting me.
You don't need to be
no, but don't misquote me. My question is as clear as daylight.
Shivani,
yes.
Let me respond.
Yes.
Please have patience. Don't get agitated. My point was simple. My point is this. What Rahul Gandhi is saying is what is happening in India. Now, why? If it is not true, then you should get, okay, fine. If it is true, do you say it is not true? If it is not true, then you should get agitated. If these are the instances that has happened in India, as per the media records also, we have seen how MPs have been arrested for just standing outside the parliament. If all of these incidents were not true, Shivani, then we should have got agitated.
Nothing that has happened in the last 10 years is something that has never happened before in India. That is how I see it. Right? Our memories have not been wiped out of what used to happen in India pre-2014. That is what I feel. I'm saying that a lot of what used to go on in India pre-2014 is also in our minds.
In front of Mukherjee's office, and he was the sitting minister at that time. What are you even talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you can just act like everything was hunky-dory in India. We had no issues pre-2014 and suddenly, you know, everything has gone to the dogs in India. That is my problem. That is not proper discourse. But anyways, political parties are free to fight with each other. That was also not my question to you. My question fundamentally remains, why do this overseas in Cambridge and other like universities? Adit Kothari has not spoken. Adit, you're in London. We discuss a lot of issues about India that get discussed overseas. What is the impact you think a speech like the one made by Rahul Gandhi makes overseas?
Honestly, Shivani, it was extremely immature of Mr. Gandhi to actually use this particular platform that was provided to him and paint an alarmingly grim picture of India rather than discuss all the collective successes that we've had over the past 75 odd years. I mean, internationally, at least from an Indian diaspora perspective, it almost seems like, you know, losing electoral relevance has come to become the prognosis of this particular visible frustration of losing power. You know, people who live in houses built of glass should be extremely wary of throwing, stones at others. Should be the moral of the story. I mean, you know, he was talking about minorities. He was talking about Pegasus. You know, minorities have probably suffered more at the hands of Congress over the course of the last, 60 odd years of the Congress rule, starting from Gujarat in 69 to Bombay in 1992. And let's not forget 84 in Delhi. So, you know, it's extremely rich of the Congress party to come in, or even Mr. Gandhi to come out and blame somebody else about the treatment of certain minorities. With regards to the Pegasus, the Supreme Court has already come out and said on the subject that there was absolutely no involvement found of the government of the day on the 29 devices that were essentially tested. So I'm not sure what Mr. Gandhi's contention here is.
No, but Rahul Gandhi and a few other opposition leaders have gone overseas to make these points a few times. We know of the famous quote by another Congress leader in Pakistan, for example, कि पहले मोदी को तो हटाओ. What I don't understand is what is this fascination that somebody from outside of India is going to come and somehow change the government here? Do you believe, what is this exercise for, Adit? That's what I'm trying to understand. Does it build some sort of momentum against Narendra Modi, or does it have any impact?
Absolutely. I mean, the international reputation of the Narendra Modi government, the successes that they have had over the course of the last 9 years, it all seems to be at attack. I mean, questions, however, should be asked of Mr. Gandhi. Who is he actually batting for? Is he batting for the China who he calls as a nation of harmony? He didn't even call Pulwama a terrorist attack, or when he was actually referring to that particular contentious argument during his speech in Cambridge. So it's bizarre that Mr. Gandhi took this charge, took this ownership at the Cambridge, where he had this momentum to actually build India as a brand, but rather he goes on to say, he goes on like a little whining child to a mother, complaining about how he's being treated in India.
Okay, let me give a final 30 seconds each to Manojit and Neeti Jain. Manojit, fundamentally, do you believe, and this is my point, all the battles fair, everything is fair in love and war and in Indian politics, but please do this in India. Don't take this overseas.
I mean, that is the stand of Congress party. We cannot comment on that, but we have a stated position. When it comes to foreign issues, the Trinamool Congress is solidly behind this government. But that's not the point. The point is, even on foreign issues, we'll criticize the government because they have failed. I mean, talking about London and the surroundings. Look where these dacoits and thugs are hiding. Vijay Mallya and Nirav Modi, they are all maybe roaming around 50 kilometers away from Cambridge and Oxford in London. What is the government doing with that? I mean, even the Congress president should raise this issue with the government out there, because he's supposed to be a friendly government. He is a son-in-law of India. People argue, including Mr. Prime Minister of this country. So what is the son-in-law of India, the current Prime Minister of Great Britain? What is he doing with this confirmed thug who said that, okay, we have stolen money?
Okay, fair enough. You're saying you could have raised other issues that actually help India, and you believe in criticizing the government, but not on foreign soil. But Neeti, my fundamental question to you, 30 seconds left. We've seen, for example, the BBC documentary, we've seen the George Soros episode, and now this speech comes in at Cambridge. Are you worried that there's going to be a lot of this momentum built, and a lot of this will come from overseas that can actually hurt your government? It can hurt the global standing, even national standing of your government, the outlook towards Narendra Modi as a leader and towards BJP as a party?
Shivani, these could be attempts that are being made to kind of destabilize this government on a global platform. But eventually, in a democracy, I think it is the fights within the country that matter more than this fight on the global platform. I think the fights that matter on the global platform are being fought very well by the Modi government with the G20 and all the issues that are being raised and everything that we're doing. I think the global standing of India has improved many-fold in the past 10 years.
But will this hurt you here in next elections?
I am not, it is not going to hurt us. There could be attempts that could be made to do this, but eventually, like I said, it is the work that is being done inside of the country. So everything we did in Northeast is reflecting in the votes that we got yesterday. So the results that came out yesterday, the work that is being done in this country, the people are going to reflect that in 2020.
The other thing that comes to my mind is what the Prime Minister recently said in Parliament, that people don't have expectations from those who are mired in negativity. I think that's a good message possibly for the opposition too, because like Neeti is saying, the politics today in India has changed. You deliver, you get voted back.
Right.
Criticism and whining alone does not get you votes anymore. People want people who will work, who will deliver. Yes, Lavanya.
Yeah, if you don't get voted back, you're also part of the horse trading that the BJP practices extensively in India.
All right, I'll leave it at that. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Moving